Okay, so this is exactly how you are going to grow your glutes and finally get over that body dysmorphia. Using my experience of going from flat to curvy, because I despised being called petite and skinny. I had gone through a terrible relationship, which caused me to dip below 100 pounds, and that was severely underweight for my size. On top of this, I had developed severe body dysmorphia thanks to the help of my abusive ex, but I was able to gain the weight back and feel better than ever using these techniques we are going over today. I always assumed that it was genetics. My family is fairly small, and so I would just never have the curves, but that is clearly not the case. And baby, we don't gatekeep on this channel. I'm going to show you exactly how to build those curves, beat that body dysmorphia, and feel better than ever. If this sounds like you wanting to build your glutes, fake that BBL, stay to the end, because I do have a simple trick at the very end that will help you achieve just that. You will be on your way to growing your hips and glutes in no time and slimming that waist as well. If this is interesting to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started. So step one is to go to the gym and lift heavy. It's the hard truth. You are not going to build that booty unless you actually put in the work. And I don't mean by like running every day, running like 5 miles. When I actually was in running, doing cross country, that was the flattest, other than being in this relationship, that I had ever been. And it was literally because I was just putting on the mileage and I wasn't working my fast twitch muscles, so my butt was flat. Skip the running and Pilates daily. You actually need to be going to the gym and lifting heavy and progressively lifting more weight. So one day you want to just lift the bar, that's a-okay, but the next month, baby, I need to see you putting 5s at least on each side. You need to be upping the weight. There are so many different workouts that you can be incorporating to help build those glutes, but some of my favorites for targeting those hips and glutes are glute bridges, hip thrusts, froggy lifts, split squats, and RDLs. Typically, I aim to complete 3 sets of each lift with about 8 to 10 reps per set. Then a game changer is to add a superset to your routine, whether it be an exercise with minimal weight or no weight at all, just body weight. This should be an accessory movement that focuses more on that mind to muscle connection rather than piling on the weight. Think glute activation exercises like donkey kicks or cable kickbacks, which brings me into step 2, your mind to muscle connection. Mind to muscle connection is extremely important when building your glutes. Mind to muscle connection just refers to your ability to target an intended muscle group. For example, when you're doing donkey kicks, whether you flex or point your toe will determine which part of the muscle is activated. Basically what that means is you want to complete each movement with intention and purpose while actively thinking about your glutes firing. So your upper glutes, your lower glutes, wherever that may be, you want to make sure you're thinking about that part while you're working it out. You will notice a difference in the concentration of that burn feeling when you start incorporating mind to muscle connection. Step 3 is eat. And I know you guys have heard this time and time again, but literally you need to gain the weight back in order to start building the curves. Literally cannot iterate this enough. I am the type of person that when I become depressed, I do not eat, hence why I dipped below 100 pounds when I was in a really toxic relationship. But on top of that, you also become way less hungry. When you get used to not eating a lot every day, you start not having an appetite. So that is actually like the mental side of it is probably the hardest. Basically, I think what happened was like my stomach shrunk, and as weird as this sounds or like gross, you need to actually start forcing yourself to eat, or at least that's what I did. It was really difficult at first, but the more you do this, obviously the more you get used to eating a full amount of food again, a normal healthy amount. But I almost had to like train my stomach to start wanting more amounts of food during the day. My recommendation is, if you are struggling with this, first and foremost is contact a professional. Do not take it from me. Please go seek some help. But also start small. Don't expect too much of yourself right off the bat. Start small, start slow, and just be your own best friend during the process, because it is a legitimate struggle. That being said, in order to supplement legitimate glute growth, growth in your hips, wherever, you need to be eating at a caloric surplus. And this is basically how people achieve weight gain or bulking. If you hear of bulking season, you need to figure out how many calories you burn per day typically. And you can do this online through Google. And then once you figure this out, then you can figure out how many calories you need to be eating. If you're eating at a caloric surplus, this will be above what you typically burn per day. And yeah, this is how you gain weight. So like I said earlier, this is how people bulk. And I've heard the term dirty bulking thrown around. My boyfriend has made fun of me for dirty bulking a couple years ago. But basically it's when people literally eat whatever in order to gain the weight. And you will gain the weight because you are eating more calories. Like I sat down and ate an entire bag of gummy worms every night, but baby, I felt like doo-doo because I was not feeding my body like actual nutrients. It was just empty calories. So you can do this. Be advised, you're going to feel like crap though. Opt for meals that are real foods. Go buy produce, go buy meats, go make real meals that will fuel your body and fuel your muscle growth. Don't get me wrong, you can still enjoy your bag of gummy worms, but just make sure that your 3 daily meals are actually consistent of real foods. Step 4, going off of my secret to jump starting your glute growth, is your protein intake. You need to be eating, and I've said this time and time again, but you need to be eating your weight in grams of protein. I see so many people say double your weight, or they just say flat 100 grams of protein. No, if you weigh 120 pounds, you need to be eating 120 grams of protein, and so on and so forth. This becomes easier and easier the more you do it. However, I am warning you at the beginning, it might be hard for some of you, and that is okay. That's normal. Just try to supplement with a protein shake if you do see that you're missing some of your protein intake by the end of the day. Part of how I also meet my protein goals, other than just downing a protein shake because I gag when I drink those, is by eating meals that are dense in protein. For example, eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt parfaits, tuna wraps, fajitas for dinner. Baby, the list goes on. My mouth is watering. Season your food. I saw somebody say, oh, I didn't think chicken was healthy if you seasoned it. No, season it. So please season that food, make it delectable, make it fun to eat. Just pick real foods. Don't be putting like processed Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches on your plate. Go make a breakfast sandwich. Anyway, my rant is over. Hitting your protein intake can be fun, and you can go on YouTube, look for different videos telling you different recipes, or on Pinterest. Heck, look at my videos. I'm gonna plug myself a bit. You will notice a total difference once you start meeting your protein intake for the day. Not only will your muscles thank you for nurturing them, but you will also notice that they are growing, which, baby girl, is the goal. We need to fuel those curves that we are building. We are working so hard on in the gym. So don't be afraid to eat. That is what is going to fuel those curves we're building. Step 5 is achieving the hourglass, because we all want that look. So I lied. This is actually the best piece of advice I have heard in forever. And it was actually from my boyfriend. Basically, I used to hate doing upper body. And I remember back in high school, I would literally just skip Tuesdays and Thursdays because that was back and chest days, and I would just go on a run instead. And honestly, it made me look more boxy than I thought. Like, it made me look more boxy than I thought it would. And what I mean by this is I was working out my glutes like 3 days a week. I was going heavy on glutes, but I would skip my upper body days. And so even though I was really building my butt, I still had a pretty flat like look to my body. Well, flash forward to me complaining to my boyfriend back when we first started dating that I was unhappy with like this boxy look that I had. And he goes, Annie, you need to start doing upper body day, specifically your back, to achieve your hourglass look. I'm just a girl. So of course I thought he was a complete idiot for suggesting this. And of course I went against it and I refused to do back for like God knows how long. But then I became curious, and I became so curious that I actually began looking forward to back day. And baby, now that is one of my favorite days of the week. Like, I love a good rowing session, okay? And it is because it makes me feel like a total muscle mommy. Like, I love getting like jacked up in the gym, just like rowing, feeling like a total like meathead in the gym. Like, it's a great feeling. I do suggest it. Anyways, my love, you need to start incorporating back day. I am not going to gatekeep. This is the one piece of advice that is like actually a real life game changer, and I don't think people talk about too often when they talk about how to like build that hourglass shape. You need to be working out your back. And this all boils down to optical illusion. You see, the bigger your back and your hips are, the more of an illusion it will give of a small waist. You're not actually shrinking your waist, you're just adding mass to the top of the waist and the bottom of the waist. So it gives that like curvy look. So yeah, that is how you're going to achieve that hourglass. And then step 6, last but certainly not least, is you need to be your own best friend. Like I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, losing a bunch of weight and trying to gain it back really fed into my body dysmorphia that I didn't even realize I had. I had always been a pretty athletic person, but looking back, I did compete in a sport that literally judges you off of what you look like. So I guess it was kind of inevitable that I did develop body dysmorphia. And this combined with the rise of social media, I think a lot of young women today also experience this. You need to learn to love yourself again. This is something that I still work on every single day. Something that I had written a while ago when I was really going through it kind of still resonates with me today, and I have to keep reminding myself, but I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna read it from my laptop. But basically, your mirror is lying to you. You are only able to see a reflection of what you see within. If you dislike yourself, you are going to see ugliness when you look in the mirror. Listen to those around you who compliment you because they actually are seeing you. Anyways, if you guys feel like this helped, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!